welcome to our channel, Duo Time Watch. We're a father and son duo who wanted to offer a unique perspective on reviewing popular modern-day watches through the eyes of different generations.
Now, watches have a special place in our family, as it has been a tradition for us to pass down or purchase timepieces to celebrate life events such as weddings, graduations, top kills at Fortnite, or to squirrel away for future generations.
Where's my roller, Dad?
Yeah, so anyway, we'll jump right into it. So what we're gonna do is review one of the most popular and affordable watches in the market, which is the Casio G-Shock GA2100 series, also known among watch geeks as the Casio Oak.
The reason it is called a Casio Oak is because of its resemblance to the Audemars Piguet Royal Oak, which retails for about $23,000. Is that right, Dad?
Yeah, actually, in the open market, it actually costs about $30,000 to $45,000, depending on the dial color, due to the popularity among enthusiasts with a lot more money than us.
Wow, okay, so before we unbox the Casio joke...
Dude, Casio Oak.
Let's quickly talk about the specs.
The original G-Shock GA2100 is available in a variety of colors and retails for about $120 at your favorite local online or local retailer. Now, many of the colors are often sold out, so you may not be able to walk up to any counter to purchase, but if you shop online, it shouldn't be too difficult to purchase with a little research or a short wait. All the specs of the GA2100 can be found in the description below. Now, I'm sure if you're searching for this video, you've seen several unboxings of the original Casio Oak, but for 2021, we have its brand new updated cousin, the GMA2100. which takes on the popular designs and aesthetics of the original GA2100 in a much more accessible size. Now, it was marketed as a watch for ladies, but really it's sized as a unisex or even a teenager option. And so we're not going to go into an in-depth review of its functions, but if you're like us, you'll want to see a side-by-side comparison of the dimensions on how they size up. So without further ado, let's go ahead and take a look at these bad boys. From a packaging perspective, they're all going to come in this cool metal tin that's going to be also boxed in your standard G-Shock packaging. You'll see this manual, which you will not be able to read because you have no idea what it means. So my suggestion is just simply push buttons, figure out what they all do, and eventually you'll be able to not only set the time, date, as well as some of the analog functions, but you'll be able to then enjoy the watch for what it is. Now, YouTube, as you can see from a dimension perspective, they are very, very similar. And so there are some subtle differences in some of the housing, but in terms of how they would fit around your wrist, it's going to be relatively similar. Now, in terms of the dimensions, I want to say the newer 2021 model may fit most wrists a little more comfortably. But as you can see, one of the instant telltale differences is going to be on the pushers themselves. The older one it feels to be a metal pusher, while the newer has a plastic or some type of resin-like button pusher. Now, also on the buckle itself, the older model has a metal buckle, the newer has a plastic, along with the pin buckle as well. And so in that regard, a little disappointing. Looks like they may have actually cut some corners to either save on production costs, but the material field itself is relatively similar. I would say the older one has a better resin band. You could tell also within the pin buckle holes that there are some subtle differences, but for the actual carbon core, they're virtually identical. Thickness, once again, this is going to be a little bit more comfortable. And then functionality, they're going to be the same. Now, I will say for the 2021, pretty cool in terms of this faux rose gold dials or indices or hands, all the above. The other has a nice contrast, and so if you're old like me, you're going to be able to see the dial a little bit better because of the white hands against the black dial. So one last side by side, as you can see, relatively similar. Both really cool for all generations. And here's a quick wrist shot in terms of how it sits on the wrist. And so I have about a 7¼ inch size wrist. relatively flat. And so in terms of how it sits, very comfortable. Does kind of look like a Hublot in terms of sizing, but it's going to be much lighter, and it does look a little bit different because I know some of the other G-Shocks are just an insane size, but in terms of comfort as well as styling, I love this thing. Now here's the updated 2021 sitting on the wrist of my son, who is about 5'5", about $120. Wrist size is going to be about 6.5 inches, maybe a shade under, but as you can see, fits perfectly. Looks great. How does it feel, son?
Feels pretty good. It's very light.
Okay, so comfort-wise, like how would you rate it against an Apple Watch?
It's a little bit less comfortable, but it's still pretty comfortable.
So with that said, son, which model do you like better?
I would say I like the newer one because it has a better color, because I don't really like the white that much. It's also a little bit smaller and less bulky.
Got it. Okay, fair enough. You know, for myself, I think it's because of the contrast of the indices as well as the hands against the dial. I like the older one a little bit better, but I could tell that, you know, if you like the aesthetics, the size, or perhaps the newer design, I can see why you would like the newer versus older. But either way, really can't lose. I would rate the older one a 9 out of 10, the newer one 8 out of 10. But how about you, son?
I would rate the newer one an 8 out of 10, and I would rate the older one a 7.
Got it. So pretty close either way. So please subscribe, as in the future we're going to be having raffles as well as prizes for our subscribers as a thank you for following us and supporting our hobby. So thank you, and until next time.